A few weeks ago, a coordinated effort on certain colors of certain skins doubled the price of a lot of green colored skins to match loadouts. The main winner of that green pump, the Tec-9 Ossified, which is up over 110% over the last 7 days, and even more so over the last month. It's happening again, so while people are caught up on the green ones now, we've been there, done that. Let's find the next one.
And now for our Counter-Strike report. New York's very own Mike Water.
Welcome back to DE News China. I'm your host, Mike Water 9. Look at the top 100 movers this week. Some things and some themes should arise. The Tec-9 safety net, the AK safety net, the P250 Inferno, the P250 Hive, the SG Tiger Moth, just to name a few. So it looks like we have another pump. And the top movers this week are all disproportionately orange. So for background, a few weeks back, the Chinese market was accumulating skins that had a green undertone. Throughout the first portion of the movement, the AUG Carved Jade was one of the biggest movers, and also the AK Predator and M4 Jungle Tiger, part of the Aztec collection. Now these are both light blues and they trade up to the Tec-9 Ossified, which is the highest rarity within the Aztec collection. And we know what happened next. It sat around $30 at the time of making that video. It is now $82 on Steam DT and over 100% gain over the last 2.5 weeks. We called that shit bada bing, bada boom. I don't know if there's going to be too much volume at that asking price, so if you can get out at 82, I would definitely take that. But the green rotation obviously wasn't random. It sparked other types of themed loadout movements such as blue and red in the next coming weeks, although to a lesser extent. The green rotation was driven by something specific, obviously. And if we can understand why it happened and what was the base causes of it, then we can figure out what's next. There's tons of money to be made if you're positioned correctly here with the next plays. So let's zoom out and look at the entire market so that we can make an educated decision based on the current state of everything going on. Firstly, the first generation of gloves are dumping and have dumped, although I think they probably have reached their floor this week. The Hedge Maze gloves from Generation 1, one of the most popular gloves within the game before Generation 4, reached a low of $2,400 in Battlescarred. Now, that's a lot of money, but it's very markedly less than what it was before. These are lows we haven't seen in months and months of run-up. The Hedge Maze's sister gloves, the Pandora's Boxes, also dipped a very heavy amount over the last couple of weeks. Now, there's a multitude of factors that go into the price action of these gloves specifically. First off, of course, Generation 4 gloves have come out. So A, there's more gloves going around for people to purchase and use. Recency bias, Generation 4 are the newest gloves we've had in 5 years at this point, so there is obviously going to be more attention than not on these new gloves. And of course, with attention comes capital. Even though the databases are still a little bit messed up, there are now over 6,700 registered gloves that we know of on the market right now. And if the Generation 4 gloves didn't exist, the money that has been put into the Generation 4 gloves, we can expect some of that to have been in Generation 1, which explains the price movement downwards. So that money isn't gone from Generation 1, it's just been redirected at least in the short to medium term. And what do people do when they get new gloves? They like to match their loadouts. The amount of gloves that's in circulation are now a substantial amount to the point where, demand for matching loadouts will actually move the price of a skin. And one look at the list of the most redeemed gloves, you'll see 4 gloves, Red Racer, Sunburst, Occult, and Blaze, all in the top 8 to 10, I believe, and they all are the same colorway. Warm tones, orange, red-orange, yellow, and that has been reflected in the top movers of this week. Glove redemptions drive loadout demand. The reason why it hasn't been that much of an issue for us is because there hasn't been new gloves in 5 years. The guns that matched Generation 1, 2, and 3's gloves were already priced in. This is the first time in which new gloves have been introduced. Thus, some skins are going to move upwards, some skins are going to move downwards due to changes in demand. The color orange is proving it right now because red, yellow, and orange are the most prominent colors in the top glove movers of Generation 4. Not only that, historically, there's really only one glove, Tiger Strike, that was the only orange glove that was pretty much available for the 10 years in which gloves have been out. So there has been a massive shift in demand. So the playbook looks to be the same, and one has to wonder, what's the next Tec-9 Ossified in red, yellow, and orange? What's the skin that benefits the most from all the inputs moving? What's the skin that benefits the most from all the outputs moving? What's the one that's going to take advantage of all of the factors involved to make one perfect pumpable skin? For one, we have the Tec-9 safety net and the AK safety net by proxy. These are the only orange AK and Tec-9, I'm pretty sure. Hideous, by the way, but that is because it's the only option. The Tec-9 safety net was called to us in the Twitch stream one night, and it has definitely moved in the way that they predicted. It gone from around $6 at the time of the call to around $35 right now, as high as $40 on Steam Community Market. So a wonderful play there for us. The AK safety net was already pretty high up. 2018 Inferno collection just got discontinued recently, so it enjoyed some of that hype. But it's since dipped down since then, and it was sitting at around $17 to $18, but has since moved up to around $26, $27. With those, we look at neighboring skins within these collections respectively. Train 2021 is where the Tec-9 safety net resides, and as we know, that is one of the top favorite plays of China to pump within that collection as a whole because it has so many things working for it. And the AK safety net 2018 Inferno, as we just discussed. So looking for 0 to 1 outputs or 0 to 1 fillers could be a decent play for you. The Tec-9 safety net is a blue, so it only has outputs, but the purples there should be pretty decent, such as the P2000 Space Race, which saw a very, very high price action this week. The CZ Syndicate, which is also still benefiting from its buff last week, and the Pop-Op. That's probably going to be the best play. That's the one that's seen the least amount of movement within Train 2021, and it's an AUG, so you don't have to really worry about price moving too high or too low too quickly. Inferno 2018 collection, I don't know if the fillers for the AK are going to be a good play necessarily. It was actively dropped for quite a long time, therefore the amount of blues and light blues just get exponentially higher and higher. SG Integrale and Dual Beretta's Twin Turbo might be already too high priced because they were a focus of China in the early year. Just be your best play buying an AK safety net, although wait for a little bit of a pullback. It is pretty high right now comparatively to where it was just a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. Focus is on different types of guns as well. We saw a big coordinated attempt on all of the Tec-9 skins, which is why the Ossified was one of our calls and the safety net. But it wasn't just exclusive to those two. All of those moved, as well as a lot of the SGs and AUGs. One that enjoyed a specific amount of pumping was the SG Tiger Moth, which is a purple from the revolver case. Now the revolver case itself saw pretty decent price action due to the revolver being buffed, at least in the short term, which means there's an attention on the case that wasn't there previously. While the SG Tiger Moth is pretty cheap in its own right now and could be justified into purchasing into one of those, there are some decent fillers if you don't have the capital or don't want to put the capital into something like the SG. Two spoke out to me, the P2000 Imperial and the Deagle Corinthian. I do like the P2000 Imperial more because there is just some hype riding around the P2000s and the pistols in general this week. So if you could find one in a good float that trades up to the Tiger Moth in a decent float, that might be a good play as well. It is definitely cheaper than the SG right now. The AUG saw a decent amount of representation within the top 100 movers this week, and I don't think that's going to end anytime soon. It looks like the AUG and SG are getting special attention, and I think the AUG benefits from the ammo update more so than the SG. I haven't seen anyone use the SG. One AUG that I do like is the AUG Bengal Tiger from the Esports 2014 case. This also is a pretty favorite case of China in the last couple of weeks, and in general, they love pumping the AUG Cortacera and the P2000 Cortacera. The AUG Bengal Tiger and just the Bengal Tiger skin in general very much matches that orange theme that they got going on with a lot of the most redeemed gloves, and it has a .06 to .8 float cap, which, as we know, is a great, fantastic float cap, not only to trade up to, but to trade up with. So I think this one will benefit the most if they do decide to go ahead and fully push the, AUG SG thing as they did with the Gulil and FAMAS in the past. But first, if you're looking to buy any of these skins, I would try out UU Skins, today's sponsor. UU Skins is the only marketplace that offers direct marketplace access to the Chinese markets without the need of a middleman or VPN. They've just recently added the UU Happy Shop, which is essentially like cash back once you redeem a purchase on the website. Go to the website every day and claim 100 free points, and once you save up enough points, you'll be able to redeem it for a skin of your choosing. The amount of choices are pretty extensive, and there are good skins, right? AK slates, stickers, things like that. Of course, some more higher tier skins and knives if you get that point total nice and up there. I will soon have a code for the UU Happy Shop, and if you use my code, I will get some kickback from your purchases, and I guess I'll just use them to do some giveaways within the next few videos or so. But that is just a bonus. The marketplace itself is fantastic. So if you're looking for a new marketplace, call UU Skins your home. Scan the QR code on the screen right now and check it out for yourself. Last week's watch list, we didn't have a DE News China specifically last week, once again, because of just all the new stuff coming out and all of the different news. But we did have a few that were Chinese connected, right? The Tec-9 Ossified was called around 2-3 weeks ago. It sat around $30. We're at $80 as we said before. I think this is a good time to exit, right? Exiting is just as important as entering in this market. If you miss the exit, you don't enjoy all of the gains in which you had unrealized. On top of that, we also had the Tec-9s, Safety Net, Urban DD Pat, and Red Quartz. All of these enjoyed pretty decent gains. The Red Quartz, I believe, moved from around $1.20 to $2.50. The Urban DD Pat from around $3 to $7.50 at the time of making this. And the Safety Net, which had run up around 3 times, 3 straight accumulations in a row from around $11 to $35 as of making this. Now, if I had to make an exit plan, I would probably get rid of some of the red quartzes right now because it is a purple within the Train original collection, and that is the highest rarity tier within the collection itself. Therefore, the supply will only get bigger, therefore it will be harder to pump, right? No trade-up pipelines, no supply sinks. The Urban DD Pad I might keep more of because they are in the bank collection. They trade up to other things within the bank collection, and that collection as a whole has seen a decent amount of attention. And I think it does match some of the new gloves like the Black Book and the Pillow Punchers. The Safety Net I bought at around $8 to $9, so now that they're like $35 now, I sold 2 of them. I had around 8, so I got my money back for the initial investment. Now I'm just letting the rest ride. If they do start to dump a little bit, I'd probably get rid of some more at around $23 to $25, just so I don't have to ride the whole wave down. But I am holding just for the potential upside it does have, because this one seems to have a lot of players within it. It pumps pretty much every 7 days on cue. We also spoke about the Deagle Sputnik. Now, the Deagle Sputnik I spoke about because it does share the collection as the Tec-9 Safety Net. And this was at a time in which the Tec-9s as a whole were not being pumped as a gun, but just, I thought, Train 2021 was seeing some attention as it always does. It did not receive that attention, but I don't think the Deagle Sputnik is a bad hold, nor do I think you should sell it. I have a lot of stuff just kind of throughout the entire collection because it's so fundamentally sound. There is a video on my channel, I'll try to find it and remember to link it on like the top corner, one of these, that explains why the supply is so weird and so disproportionate compared to other collections in which they are dropped. Yeah, I definitely have no problem holding the Deagle Sputniks for a long time, especially when they were just focused on Deagles like the Night Heist and the Midnight Storm a few weeks ago. My first 2 plays are going to be what I spoke about before, the SG Tiger Moth and the AUG Bengal Tiger. Right, these both match the vibe of what's going on. The only percentage gains they've seen are single digit and not substantial enough to, have a bad position if you enter in the next few hours or so. The AUG Bengal Tiger, I think, has the better legs, but it is, of course, more expensive because of that, right? 0.06, therefore, the factory new threshold is so low. Therefore, the supply is going to be low, making it easier to pump. And the case in which it resides in, Esports 2014, is more popular with Chinese manipulators than the other case, Revolver. But the SG Tiger Moth in the Revolver case is seeing more attention right now due to changes in demand regarding the Revolver itself. So I don't necessarily think this is a terrible play either. The SG Tiger Moth is pretty cheap as well. Therefore, if it doesn't work out, you lose $3 or you just wait 3 weeks. The case is old enough in which it has realistic chances to grow, but it is new enough in which you can still expect the case price to increase and thus the skins within it to increase to match the EV. The last one, in which I shared on the Discord sometime throughout this week, was the AUG Momentum. The AUG Momentum has a 0.05 to 1 float cap, which is the largest and rarest float cap in the game, I think, other than the Tec-9 Whiteout. 0.06 to 1 is the hardest factory new skin to get, factually. 0.05 to 1 would be the second hardest, and the supply numbers reflect that rarity. 6,000 factory new AUG Momentums exist, 600,000 exist in all wear types. So very much a sleeper if they do decide to move with AUGs. I think this would be one of the biggest beneficiaries of an AUG pump as a whole general gun class, but obviously we have to wait for that. So keep a watchful eye on it. Wait for a little bit of a pullback if you want to enter there. As for the Tec-9, because it still is seeing a great amount of attention in regards to all of the guns within the class, one that I found that looked a little bit undervalued at the moment was the Ice Cap Tec-9, which is a blue colored skin within the Gamma case. The Gamma case very much confuses me because it seems so undervalued for what it offers and the rarity and how old the case is. I believe it came out in 2016, and yet the case itself does not command a ton of respect in terms of the case price and in terms of the prices of the guns within it. It sits at around $2.50 in factory new, and considering the titanium bit, which is another blue colored skin with the Tec-9, has reached about $25-$30 over the last few weeks, I don't see why the Tec-9 Ice Cap can't realistically 2 to 3x in the short term. But it is a cheaper skin, therefore I would watch out, maybe buy a couple, but not overexpose yourself too much. It is a speculative play, of course, and it's in a case that historically gets no attention. So another Tec-9 is the Tec-9 Bar. This is from the Danger Zone case, which has been seeing more attention recently, and it does provide one of the best trade-up fillers in the game, the Tec-9, because it has a odd float cap of 0.14 to 0.8 or something like that. Regardless, the minimal wear threshold is very small, just like a Tec-9 whiteout or any whiteout skin would be, just in minimal wear instead of factory new. Therefore, when you get a minimal wear one, it automatically results in a factory new input, making the Bar in minimal wear a very good play, not just for now, maybe not even for a pump, but for long-term gains. And lastly, one which is a little bit more speculative, again, like the Bar, the Tec-9 Mummy's Rot, which is from the Anubis collection. Now, again, this is an Anubis play that kind of rides on an Anubis 2026 collection coming out. And if Anubis 2026 does come out before the major and we get a whole new class of souvenir weapons for Anubis, then all of these skins are gone, and thus we can see the price action actually start to take effect. Right, the Black Nile, the Steel Delta, these have done fantastically. The Eye of Horus is a common target of Chinese manipulation, so I think that the Tec-9 Mummy's Rot, because of all the hype surrounding the Tec-9 itself, will do just fine in the short to medium term, even if Anubis doesn't get a new collection with the new major. As for gloves, I don't think Generation 1 gloves are the worst play right now, considering where we've been in the past in terms of price action. Right, they've seen a massive dip. I think they've hit their floor, or at least very, very close to it. So I guess if you really wanted a pair of Generation 1 gloves your entire life, this might not be a terrible time in which to invest. Although I would probably stay away. I think there are better plays with more upside, like the hand wraps and moto gloves, which are notably absent from Generation 4's catalog. And of course, to note, these Generation 4 gloves will decrease in price still over time. Right, the terminal built that into its system in a way, and I think we're close to it, but maybe still not all the way there just yet, especially with the higher ones like minimal wear and factory new, as those will take a longer time for supply to manifest. So I think that these color rotations and color themed loadouts do have a shelf life in a way. Green worked, orange is working, and I think there's plenty more room for a lot of different color-themed loadouts to go. So do your own research, look at some of those gloves, see what you think matches the most, and try to find the next one before China does. Other than that, peace.